hardly any budget, no budget to work from, therefore message defining media there. So deciding where to deploy this message is coming after that message has been developed. And then the fifth thing is reporting. There are a lot of funny commercials out there. There are a lot of interesting print ads to look at. There are a lot of good radio spots and beautiful websites and this and that. But the fact of the matter is, if it sits there and it's pretty and it's interesting and nobody does anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, your customers, we are here as an agency, we are here to make our clients more money. And the goal of a campaign is to do just that in a lot of cases. So you got to find out if it worked. And then you have to, hopefully they stick around. Hopefully it did work. They stick around with your agency, and next time campaign season rolls around, they're gonna stick with you. So it's really all media is fantastic, and everybody needs to be in as many as they possibly can. But more important than ever, more clutter, more junk, for lack of a better word, out there. You got to be saying the right thing.
Alex, I see why he's a principal. That was really good. And I'm going to use that 500-minute class. Thank you very much. That was really very good. It's wide open now. What questions would you like to ask our panel of experts? Anything you want to follow up on? Okay. Okay. So while people are writing this down, we go ahead and Jeannie's. Jeannie, which question?
Silly, but I've already curious. We had the question was, has the fact that young people aren't big breakfast eaters impacting newspaper reading? I have never seen a study on that. I'll be honest. I could make up an answer, but I've never seen a study on that, social change. A tangent. Last week I was in Chicago, and there were a lot of people younger than me that were at a breakfast. And although we all know the phenomenon of coffee shops, 2 or 3 of them said, "Do you have soda?" And the researcher that was there said 30% of people 30 and younger no longer drink coffee for breakfast. They drink their caffeine choices of soda. And we did start talking through what other things have changed based on this generation. So I'm going to call him and ask him that question about have they done studies around newspaper readership for breakfast. Very, very interesting question. I can't answer that. You can text one another back and forth across the breakfast table like teenagers do nowadays.
Thank you. Someone passed this question along, which is interesting because we didn't talk about collateral materials really, or direct mail. Here's a question saying, direct mail or coupon has been the topic of many articles about marketing and advertising business. It offers a low cost and immediate response. Is this not a form of advertising that needs to be in a medium mix? That's a fair question. Now that most TV stations, radio, and newspapers are all in the discount couponing business, they seem to see the importance. Anybody want to handle this? Should direct appeals, collateral advertising be part of a campaign? Daniel, I think you sort of addressed that.
Direct mail being a part of it?
Yeah, or collateral in general, or other means.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that a lot of collateral is a little is going down in popularity a little bit because there is a trend of lack of information in advertising a lot now. See it a lot in web actually. I was thinking about this the other day. Website design and user experience on web goes through so many different changes. Every 2 weeks is different. And it used to be as much information as you can possibly say about your company on your website. It used to be on there every single thing. And now I'm starting to, I'd be interested to know what you think about this, Patrick, but now I'm starting to see a little bit of a cutback on the amount of information that's out there on the web, and strategy as far as communicating something quickly, getting something to act quickly, because I think everyone's attention span is going away. You know, I think that with social media and getting instant updates that are 150 characters long max, it's no one has any patience for anything. And I think that not only on the web, you're seeing that in a lot of collateral, white papers, leave behinds. It's a little bit more about positioning your brand as in a simple way than a more detailed informational way.
And it's all about being personal, especially as you pull back from the website. You're right, back in the day, get through every possible thing you could on the website. Now it's all about give me a call and making, here's my picture. You call me, I'll help you. It's a one-to-one. That's really what social media is all about. It's a conversation. It's a direct line from you to your lead, you to your customer, you to a competitor. It's one-to-one, and that's what people want.
I was also going to chime in on couponing. I'm still teaching that couponing is sort of a dead end anymore, that you're just buying future markets. And yet,
How we Groupon.
well, I was going to say, but then when I think about Groupon and Augusta daily deals, it's morphed into something, I think, fresher and more effective. Again, maybe because it targets the individual more successful.
Absolutely.
So, it is part of it.
I would just say, we've had some clients that have done those kinds of specialty, discounts, and you hope that the customers will come back and pay full price, but you wonder if there's too much of that. You wonder if the only way somebody will go to a restaurant is if it's half price, and then nobody will be in business. Per se, of course they will, but. So that's the only danger, I guess. You have to be real careful so you don't get hurt.
Yeah, that industry is a crowded house, really quickly. There's a different one every single day.
Limbeck just made a new one. Yes.
Who did?
Limbeck, he just started it.
Did he really?
Yep.
It is, Groupon happened, and then it was a race for second place. And right now, there's just thousands of people. It's just, it's unreal. So I'm going to be very interested to see, I don't necessarily think it will fizzle out, but, I think that this will level out in a major way. And there are going to be a lot of people falling by the wayside and start their own deal side.
I agree. I mean, the thing that seems to work best now, Barbara mentioned, like the newspaper deals, and we do them too. When you do coupons in conjunction with another media and or part of the plan, it works really well there. Doing it by itself, it's a place out, you kind of find
Stuart, here's one for you. Someone's interested in learning more about the value and effectiveness of digital versus static billboards. Does one provide better value, reach, and effectiveness?
Well, yeah. I think it really depends on your situation as to which one you would choose. If you were asking me that question, just that, no background, typically I would think that static billboards offer more value. What I mean by that is you can reach more people for more time for less money. So, I can get you a billboard on Washington Road for, I don't know, let's just say $1,000 a month. And then a digital billboard across the street is going to cost, let's say $1,800 a month. But you're talking about 1/6 share. Those things run 10 seconds a piece. There are 6 messages on them. So then, here I'm telling you that you get a lot more value on a static billboard. Why would you ever buy a digital billboard? Well, there are a lot of practical uses for that, and it really depends on if you fall into these categories. A good use would be a restaurant that wants to change its message for a breakfast run, a lunch run, and a dinner run. Different specials each day, that kind of thing. maybe a community theater or something like that that's running different shows over a period of time and wants to promote those different types of things. I think where we run into some problems and people don't get full value out of digital is when you get let's say a local service provider, maybe a plumber, and he wants to stick a message up there because it looks cool, but he's just going to basically do, Joe's Plumbing, we fix your leaks, and here's my phone number. Well, then that guy's paying way too much money for his outdoor. And I'd rather see him do a static billboard because he's not utilizing the effectiveness of the digital that he's paying extra for. And he can take that money and either buy more billboards or put that money in another medium and, just have a more effective campaign that way.
Thank you. Jody, here's one for you. Comment on the recent alternative weekly newspaper changes in our market. What do you see as their future?
Be nice.
That's a great question. I think that, because I'm so bullish on print, I would tell you guys that there's a purpose for a daily newspaper, for an alternative weekly newspaper, that people want to consume news and information, like I said, in lots of formats. I am biased, obviously, when it comes to what type of format, whether or not it would be through an alternative weekly or through our daily. But I think that there's a place for an alternative weekly in our market.
Oh, no, I like all the competition and all the various free weeklies and monthlies, and we do a monthly as well, and there's a lot of different voices out there, which I think is important. And everyone has a little bit of a different niche, and I do think from a marketing standpoint, with the competition, sometimes the rates come down, and I think it's certainly a benefit for those who are placing the media buys as well.
Thanks. I don't know whether to direct this to Paul or to Patrick. How do you see streaming media services like Netflix affecting the TV advertising business?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Well then, moving right along.
In all seriousness, as I said, looking back at the numbers here, how people use television, it's still, broadcast television is still a 600-pound gorilla, guys. I mean, it just is. And, people have talked up here about clutter and so forth, and that's very true. We are in a cluttered world, and by the way, Daniel, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 75,000 ads a day that we're exposed to. So there is a lot of clutter. And based upon that, we're far better off to narrow the choices that we use with media and concentrate in a medium or two, as opposed to trying to put a little drop here, a little drop there, a little drop there, a little drop there, to where you never get above that noise. In this case, I think in your media plan, less is more. Pick the top two media that you think are going to work best for you, and concentrate your dollars there. I'm not saying just use television, but use the one or two media that's going to work the best. Don't try to be all things to all people, because you're never going to get above the noise. You're just going to be another one of those people that's out there that nobody hears. And Daniel's 100% right. 99% of the messages out there are terrible. That's why a lot of advertising doesn't work. You're not asking somebody to do something. Sell something with your ad.
Thank you. Amen. Here's a social media question. I have a seasonal business and and during the season, we built up a large following. The season is now gone. What should we do to keep people interested? Good question.
Well, depending on what the business is, the biggest thing you can do is find relevant content. Let's say all you do is you sell pecans around Christmas time, and you're only open from October to December. Well, the rest of the time, if you want to keep your client engaged, you really want to work with them and still show them your passion. If your passion is selling pecans and you're actually growing them the rest of the year, well then talk about growing them. Talk about what you're doing to prepare for next season. Tell them, in the industry, we think that salted pecans are gonna be the top seller this year, even though they weren't last year. Try to engage them, ask them questions.